Hello, Needham. School is back in session, and so is the Needham real estate market. My name is Rob Ticktin. This is Ryan McDonnell. Welcome to What's My House Worth? We are realtors with Hawthorn Properties, and we have a pretty busy show in store for you, wouldn't you say, Ryan?
Yeah, we do. I mean, summer's over, and we are jumping right into it.
No doubt. We're going to be looking at the month of August during this episode, and 42 sales to be going over, so we're certainly going to be racing through at least a few of them. But before we do that, let's take a look at the overall sales data, and we see the 42 sales. Ryan, what else do you see there?
See an average sale price, Rob, of $1.18 million.
That's strong.
That is strong. That's as high as we've seen?
Yeah, it might be.
For a month?
Yeah, it might be.
Our percentages are great. 99.5% of our list price is our sale price.
Yep.
And 98.3% of original list, that's dynamite. We like it over 97. Average days on market, 25.
Tiny.
How is that even possible?
I don't think we've seen that either.
My goodness, that is really, really low.
Certainly a strong August, and August typically a pretty strong month as it kind of reflects the late spring market sales. And there you see it. 42 certainly is a good-looking number. I don't know what happened in 2015. Do you remember that, Ryan?
No, that must have been a doozy of a show. They'll have to go pull that out for the the rerun episodes.
Yeah, I don't think
is that in syndication
well,
yet?
I don't know. We've had two-parters before. I don't think that was one of them.
Yeah.
Next slide is the average sales price. Ryan alluded to the fact that it's high, but this is interesting. It should also have the August there along the bottom, but more importantly, you look at the average sales price, and you start more importantly at August 14, Ryan. We go from 857,000 to 966,000. Then look at those jumps.
Yeah.
Now we're at 1177.
I mean, what can you say? I mean, we got off the phone today with an agent from out of town who was expressing some surprise at some of the pricing in Needham recently. But I said, this isn't just overnight. This is we've been watching this come for the last few years, and it's now it's here. And this is Needham now.
Yeah, it's been brewing for quite some time. You are correct. Going to take a look now at the individual sales. Like I said, 42 of them. Going to work our way up from the lowest sales price. And this month, the lowest sales price brings us to Great Plain Avenue. And 1548 Great Plain Avenue, there's quite a property history for this one, Ryan. It sold for $257,000 in 2007.
Yeah, then listed 7 times since then, Rob, including once as a land sale.
Yeah, and quite a few times before it sold in 07,
yeah.
So it's all over the place.
And I mean, everybody I'm sure is driven by this property as you're heading out of town from town center towards Wellesley.
On the left side.
On the left-hand side.
Yep.
Big lot. I think the lot's around 18,000 square feet, if I remember correctly, abutting some conservation land.
Yes, but extremely narrow.
Yes, really, really narrow. As far as usability, it's not really viable for redevelopment or anything like that.
Yep.
But selling for $412, it's 874 square feet, 2 beds, 1 bath.
Yeah, so not a lot of square footage there. Ditto for the next listing, which is 70 Sachem Road. And hey, how about that?
Yeah,
in early,
I
Ryan.
mean, 40-something sales, and I'm going off the board with number 2.
Yeah,
I'm basically gonna take the rest of the show off.
All right, like you always do.
Yeah, I mean, if you do them back to back, I mean, 1548 Great Plain Ave is 412. It's slight. I mean, this one is Sachem is slightly larger. Mm-hmm. It's got another bathroom, and the locations are, they're comparable-ish, I guess. I would even argue that I would take Great Plains location over this one.
Okay.
Sachem is as you get off the highway, it's off of Hunting and that part of Elliott. Great Plains obviously on Great Plain, closer to town, and you're spending $100,000 more. Mm-hmm. So I think the seller gets the nod here, as far as getting 502 versus what they got on Great Plain.
All right. Well, and strangely, we're going to stick with the kind of small square footage theme going to the next listing. So that one's 1170. This one on Manning is 1089, so it's smaller and arguably in worse condition, but sells for 650 largely, I'm guessing, because of location. It was a smaller lot, too, just 7,400 square feet.
Yeah, I mean, and I hear you, and it's certainly worth looking at when you're talking about these. The 2 we just mentioned.
Yep.
But I think, as you mentioned, this being on Manning, the location is more desirable, which is accounting for its value here.
And I'm guessing due to the fact that it's a corner lot and it's 7,400 square feet, it's not going to be a tear down, but a redevelopment, is my guess. We shall see.
We shall.
Yeah. 11 Harding Road is the next listing. This is it's a storybook cape, Ryan, according to the listing. It's
what's it about?
Right near, I don't know, but it has a happy ending for the seller.
Oh, good.
It's Harding is near High Rock, for those who don't know. And this one sold in 2013 for $541,000. So pretty good jump for them.
Yep, a little bit of update since. No garage here, Rob. And really just effectively a 2-bedroom house.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good deal. I think a pretty good sale for a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
But a nice one. The move-in condition for sure.
You can't put a price tag on that.
No.
19 Edwardle Road is the next listing, and it sells for $755,000. This one, 11,500 square foot lot, but it is a corner, Ryan.
Yes, this is also a land sale, so we will
clearly
see something different. In fact, we already do on the market see something here.
Okay.
I think it's listed as 5 Savoy, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting. Okay, some good knowledge there. 43 Kenny Street is next up. This is off of Greendale, Ryan, kind of tucked behind Broadmeadow. You know this neighborhood.
Sure, sure. This is a nice colonial. It's a little dated. Backside of Broadmeadow School, as you mentioned, but easy little hop, skip, and jump to the playground there.
Yeah.
That's on that backside, which is nice.
Yeah.
A lot of potential, but it's it's good bones, nice property. Come and make it your own.
Yeah, quiet neighborhood too. You're only going on that street if you want to be on that street.
Agreed.
Or Lois Lane. Next listing is 118 Aletha Road, and sells for $33,000 over list price, Ryan.
Yeah, not surprising, Rob. I think this was priced at least at its value, if not a little below, potentially on purpose, as we've certainly seen in recent years.
Yes.
This is an underrated Broadmeadow location, I think.
Okay.
It's a nice, quiet neighborhood, not a lot of traffic, and you can walk to Broadmeadow, you can walk to Hersey, so I like it.
Sold for $660,000 back in 2010. And you mentioned walk to Broadmeadow. Next listing is walk to Newman.
Yep.
So we're going to stick with the walk to elementary school theme, or some may say walk to elementary school theme. This one sells for...
Some may say that.
Very few. This one sells for $847,225. Private road, but it's always good news when the town is going to plow it anyway.
And that's always like the next question.
Yeah, no doubt.
Whenever you have a private way, everyone's always, their mind just jumps to, well, what do I do in the winter? Well, because the town does plow private ways in Needham. It's just more about maintenance, and it doesn't necessarily conform to width requirements, sidewalks, etc. But town does take care of the snow removal. So.
All right. 32 Arch. I want to kind of take you through how my brain went as I was looking at this listing.
Okay.
Ryan, if you want to play along.
Should be interesting.
So I really like this listing as I was looking through it. It's nicely done. It's renovated. It's got a nice open floor plan for a Cape. So I saw the sales price, and I'm thinking, well, that looks like a pretty good deal for the buyer. Like, I think the buyer did pretty well here. Huh. So then I looked a little further and noticed that it was a for sale by owner. It was an entry only.
Yep.
So I thought, oh, maybe the seller just botched the negotiation because they probably had multiple offers. Why did it only go for $1,000 over? And then the next thing I noticed is that they were offering a compensation of 1% to the buyer's agent. And I thought, well, that's not cool. So maybe that had something to do with it too.
Did people just not see it? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying you probably had a lot of buyers, agents out there who had no interest in putting this house in front of people because they were only paying 1% to the buyer's agent. So in the end, you have a listing or a seller who's trying to save money by, cutting corners, so to speak, and in the end, I think it probably bites them.
Might have.
There you go. That's my spiel.
The other thing about this house is the last time I had a job, my boss lived there. How about
But
that?
it's not the same guy who was the seller.
No, this was years ago.
Okay. All right. There you go. 60 Maple is next up. This is a house that wasn't really updated, but I think it will be fairly soon.
Yeah, this should be interesting, Rob. This one might have multiple units when all is said and done.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean it's a 20,000 plus square foot lot. It's narrow, but it's in a zone, or I think it has a historic use as a 2-family. So it's also on the historic register, which we know.
Yep.
But there is potential there for keeping and restoring this house and maybe adding another unit in the rear of the property.
Ooh, interesting.
So we'll see.
What's the % chance that happens? Do you have any numbers?
I mean, I got to put that in the it's below 50 as far as I would say. But you never know.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Sorry to put you on the spot there.
That's okay.
Okay. 38 Virginia Road is our next sale. This one goes for $862,000. That's a good clip.
Jump. Yep.
Yeah, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Nice family room addition in this one.
Yeah, and they're definitely in the gift-giving mood here. Did you happen to catch that?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Like that? I was surprised that wasn't your little tag.
Well, because I was going to bring it up and you just stole my thunder.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
The listing made it known that the washer and dryer and the lower level refrigerator were going to be left behind as gifts.
Yeah, but what if you don't want the gift? us is the better question.
And can you re-gift them, like as in back to the seller?
Yeah, I don't. I'm guessing that's a nice way of saying we're leaving them.
Right.
And we don't want them, so you're stuck with them.
And making it sound like you're doing you a favor. But this is one of many this month, Rob. I'm not gonna go through every one, but it was rampant.
Uh-oh.
The discrepancies between public record and the square footage on the listings. I mean, this month I almost couldn't get through it.
Yeah.
Some were more egregious than others.
Right. So what you're saying is people are putting on the listing sheet a square footage number for a house, but you're checking public record and you're noticing that the number's actually smaller
or different.
Different.
Usually smaller, but it's more just what is the source that's given on the listing sheet. Anytime the source is public record, you ought to be able to tie it back to public record in some capacity.
Okay.
But
so, do you feel better?
I don't. It's really weighing on me this month.
All right, well, maybe we can just slowly, incrementally get it off your chest.
Okay.
12 Hillcrest Road is the next listing. This is next door to Hazel's.
It is. Small lot, 5,200 square foot lot.
Yeah, that is small.
Yeah.
But it sold in 2013 for $680,000, and I could be wrong, Ryan, but I don't think a lot was done between that sale and this one.
I mean, not materially. I mean, but just been such a jump in the market.
Yeah, evidently.
And this is a great indicator of that. Same house, basically same finishes. The house location didn't change that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
And look at the price jump.
Yeah, well, we used to say that the 7s were the new 6s. Maybe the 8s are the new 7s.
Yeah, and 8s are the old 6s.
Right. But now we're getting way too complicated. But I get where you're going with that. 44 Markley Road is a much different house than the one we just looked at, certainly. In need of a lot of work, including... That's a pretty high estimate.
I thought so too.
Yeah, I mean, so the estimate according to the listing agent was $16,500
to get rid of knob and tube wire
on the second and third floor, which is where it was.
So my question there is because I mean, taking out knob and tube, depending on where it is, there could be quite a bit of additional work that comes in behind that, i.e., carpentry, painting, etc.
Yeah, maybe not.
So I'm just wondering if that $16,500 is inclusive of that.
I want to know if it was just one estimate or did they get two? Because you could have somebody come in behind that with an estimate of $10,000.
Yeah, I don't know that you have to take that as part of the house.
I don't know if you have to give that information as the seller.
I don't either. But I think maybe it's a seller just wanting to put all their cards on the table, and I don't mind that.
No.
But as the buyer, you're taking that, you're like, wow, okay, thanks. That's establishing sort of a scope, but certainly you're under no obligation to go with that.
Right, or the listing agent saying, let's list this thing for $875, or better yet, let's list it for $890, and then disclose the $16,000.
Right.
Okay.
But a lot of character,
lots of speculation
nice house.
there. Yep.
There you go.
There you go. And Walk the Heights. 29 Meredith Circle is a cul-de-sac location. It's also our next listing. Had been a rental for many years, Ryan. Do you know that?
Okay.
But there you go.
Maybe they rented some of the additional square footage that appears on this listing.
Okay, so that's another one, I guess. Thank
This
you.
is one where the math didn't even work. I struggled with that one. I couldn't figure it out.
Just
but anyway,
work through it.
Yeah.
32 Fay Lane is next up, and how about this sales price? So I need to know what's going on here. So this is my guess.
Escalation clause, perhaps?
No, in dollar increments.
We will top any viable offer by $1.
My guess is they agreed at $950,000, and somewhere there was a disagreement between buyer and seller, and they said, "I'll tell you what, I'll bet you $1 that I'm right on this." And they said, "You're on," and they just incorporated it into the sales price.
It's certainly possible. It's certainly possible. It's one of these things that we would love to find out.
And we might.
We might. You never know.
But it's always fascinating. Yeah. Well, when I say always, I think it's the first time we've seen it. Back to Great Plain Avenue, 1636 Great Plain, and this I like this lot, Ryan.
Yeah.
It's a big lot. It's on the corner of Carroll, so you're just in the corner there of Olin Woods, and the house is set back, so you have a nice front yard. It's a nice spot.
Yeah, I mean, do you call this Olin Woods?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so Great Plain addresses qualify?
Well, yeah, because yeah. Okay. I think Great Plain is a border.
I would agree. You just didn't know if it was. You had to be an interior.
No.
Okay.
No, but if it was on the other side of Great Plain.
Oh heavens, no.
Yeah, I know. Sorry for even bringing it up. Over to the Laurels. We're going to be in the Laurels, I believe, twice during this episode. This one is 40 Laurel Drive, and 975, 2,300 square feet. The lead paint disclosure was interesting, I thought.
I mean, you have to do it. If it's been tested, that is what it is.
I've never seen, though, a disclosure.
There were 2 this month.
No, but I've never seen one where it says it's been tested and that there is lead, but there's no paperwork for it.
It said there's no paperwork?
Yeah, they said all they can say is that there's lead, but we have no paperwork.
And we're not telling you where it is.
Well, but I mean, like you said, you have to disclose it, but it just makes it a little tricky. I'm sure there's.
Well, that's why, like, you know, you have this in the sale of single families. You want to discourage the testing if you're the seller,
right?
Because ultimately, you know, you're stuck with dealing with it unless you get the place deleveled, which is.
But in this market, it doesn't matter because it sells for $975. Right. It's listed for $949. So I mean, you could say the house is radioactive, and if it's move-in condition in a good neighborhood.
There you go. No garage there.
No garage. 16 Bondwood Road had a garage. In fact, it had a 2-car garage,
yes,
right? And it sells for $981. Assessed for $794, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, this is Bondwood is a cul-de-sac, although this house is closer to the other side of the street, the Avalon end of Bondwood.
Bondwood always seems to do pretty well, I feel like, when we're at Bondwood
it's a nice little secluded street. I mean, it's a destination street. You're not going to Bondwood unless you're going to Bondwood. You're not on it, rather. You know, one thing I noticed about this house, there's a lot, Rob, a lot of wallpaper. And like paint, like everybody says, oh, paint's the easiest thing to change. Wallpaper is quite the opposite.
That's
so if you don't love the wallpaper, it's a bear and it's expensive, and you need to factor that in when you're thinking about buying a house that you're going to make some changes to, because wallpaper is no picnic. It's messy, it's expensive, it's time consuming, and then you have to paint.
Yeah.
So it's everything there is to do about painting with a lot more prep.
There you go. 106 Parish Road is another listing that I think Ryan will have a little problem with regards to square footage. Okay, we'll get to that in a second.
I don't even know what to say.
A very unique layout. You don't see a house with it had an upstairs kind of overlooking the kitchen. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that open loft kind of thing.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
But you were going to say something, or were you?
Well, I mean, it's listed as 3,500 square feet. It's citing public record, and it just certainly is it's a little less than that. It's about 3,000 square feet. Public record has the total area at 3,469, which, as you know, is not the gross living area.
Right.
It's the total area of the interior of the house.
Yeah.
But it's just something as a listing agent you got to be careful of, because if you're not getting this down right, this could come back and bite you. Well, later on in the sale, if a buyer does their diligence and finds that this was not represented properly.
Well, but here's the thing. I think as a buyer's agent, you have to be even more careful, because your clients are going to be turning around and selling this house at some point, and suddenly it's going to be a smaller house.
It's important, and that's why I do harp on this a lot, and it's probably driving people crazy. But I mean, it's why I do it, because it is really important to have this right, or at least have your source right.
Yep. Makes perfect sense, Ryan. I get it. I understand.
I won't say another word. Rest of the show, promise.
I'm sure you won't. 45 Grant Street is next up. This is a walk-to-town location. Interesting backstory here that it sold in 2016, so just last year, for $1,017,500. And then unexpectedly, the buyer in 2016 had to move for whatever reason. And so it went right back on the market, but not before he had done some improvements to the house. So he didn't increase the value.
Yep. I mean, this is a house that's built in 1895. It's really a cool house. The coach house, it's that separate structure that you saw. It sort of took over the garage area.
Yep.
So it remains to be seen what this current owner will do with that coach house, because it's a cool space. It does affect your ability to have a garage. But big lot, over 15,000 square feet, and as you mentioned, really a nice walk-to-town location.
Something tells me if we asked the bulk of our viewers where White Pine Road is, they probably wouldn't know, Ryan.
No, they probably wouldn't.
I don't think we've ever had a sale in White Pine.
Maybe not.
Anyway, beyond Country Way is where you'll find White Pine Road, and this one sells for $1,050. It's a big lot. Lots of big lots. Yeah, it's a nice neighborhood.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, this is remote. I mean, it's one of those lots, like, as the crow flies, it's not the furthest from town, but because it does wind through Country Way and like down in that like Stratford Road area.
Yeah, I believe you compared this road to a small intestine once.
Yes.
In a previous episode.
This area, right. And it's another one of those, we call them destination locations. Like, you're not passing by White Pine Road. You're only there if you're going there, or if you're going to one of the streets in the immediate vicinity. So it's definitely remote, it's private, it's quiet, and you have big lots.
In a non-remote location that's not so private, not so quiet, and has smaller lots is Lexington Avenue.
So the absolute opposite.
Absolute opposite, but just $31,000 more in terms of sales price. This is a location play. It's 2 streets in from High Street in the corner. I think it's on the corner of Manning, isn't it? I could be wrong on that.
I don't think so.
Okay, I could be wrong on that. Nice house, though.
Yeah, it is. It's. I always remember this house, Rob, actually, because I was there at the open house, and I banged my shin on on the master bed, like the the bed frame, and I didn't think I would ever walk again.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But it was so I'll always remember you, 42 Lexington, for that. Thank you very much.
That's a tough way to remember it.
Yeah.
Back to the Laurels, and how about Laurels? The Laurels banging out a 1.2.
Yeah.
That's a biggie.
Well, see, this is Laurel Circle.
Right, which is awesome.
I feel like Laurel Circle is like the adult table of the Laurels.
I would agree.
Because you've got like all the other little lots that kind of make up the horseshoe of Laurel Drive, and then you have this cul-de-sac in the back
with these
like
bigger lots and more square footage,
bigger houses, bigger lots, and they feel like they're just sitting at the adult table, and the other Laurels are the kid table.
That's not bad. The adult table of the Laurels is Laurel Circle.
There you go. Nice double-sided fireplace in this house too. I like this house.
Yeah, yeah.
First floor master with a walk out to the yard, which is cool.
Yep. The next listing, I think you and I could probably spend a lot of time talking about, just because it's fascinating.
It is.
You know, for a bunch of reasons. It's 24 Cleveland Road, and okay. So I don't know. Let me start with the one thing that jumps out at me. You talk so much about square footage. So public record says that the square footage is 1861, but that's not even including the lower level.
Okay.
So, and there's really no mention in the listing sheet of additional, like if you have more than 139 square feet in that basement, I'm tacking that number on, and I'm putting this listing on as a 2,000 plus square foot house.
Right.
But it didn't hurt them.
Didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
So it's like, you know, sometimes we break all this stuff
I
down.
know, we overthink
but
it.
at the end of the day, you got a beautiful house.
Right.
It's smaller. It's on a smaller lot, but it's a great location, and it's, I mean, beautifully finished. And so there you go. People just love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 3-bedroom, Rob. And I looked back 4 years. We have 3 sales of 3 bedrooms at this price point or higher in 4 years.
Yeah.
Both of them, the other ones, the square footage were both over 4,000 square feet.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, this is definitely an anomaly as far as the market goes. But it's, you know, when there's demand, there's demand. I just wonder how they comped it.
Yeah, I don't know.
There aren't any.
Yeah.
If you're
it's not appraising for 1-2.
Look, I mean, it couldn't against other 3 bedrooms.
Right. No.
But yeah.
It's going to help out future 3-bedrooms.
Right.
Next listing is 56 Meadowbrook Road. And you know what the assessed, here, Ryan, I'm going to play a little game. What was the assessed value of 50? I'll give you a hint, too. 56 Meadowbrook Road, the assessed value, my hint is it's nowhere near what it sold for.
It's got to be well under $1 million.
All right, so what's your guess?
Somewhere in the 8s.
792.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, so that's going up.
That's going up.
No question. 140 Wyoming.
You know when this one last sold at Meadowbrook?
When?
1996 for $365,000.
That's
Doesn't
crazy.
1996 not seem like it's that long ago?
I mean, it seems
It's
like
longer
kinda
ago
long,
than it feels, but $365,000?
Yeah, the Atlanta Olympics were in 1996, right?
How about that?
140 Wyoming Avenue is next up, and anybody who's in the Mitchell district pretty much knows about this intersection, right? Pretty well-known intersection.
This is where 3 or 4 streets come together: Wyoming, Hillcrest, Falcon.
Very good.
What's the other one? Hazleton?
Highgate?
No.
No?
Yeah, and the Highgate. Yeah.
Thanks. 6 Smith Street is our next listing. It's another walk to Newman location. We had
Right
one of
near
these
Pond.
earlier. Right near Pond. Well, of course, if they're both walk to town or walk to Newman locations. Lots of square footage. 5 beds, 4.5. I like the 2-sided staircase. I'm always a fan of that.
Always do. Yeah, those are fun.
And the purple door. Anything else?
Built in 2000. Nice 10,000 plus square foot lot. There you go.
Okay. Off of Central near the Needham Pool and Racket Club is our next listing. It's 21 Star Ridge. Have you heard anything from Needham Pool and Racket? That's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. No word on it. You? Anywho.
Stay tuned.
Sells for 1.4.
Sure does, Rob. Built 98, sold for 918 when it was new. You know, big lot, over an acre. You know, it's an interesting one when you compare it to the next one.
Okay, let's take a look at it then. 44 Stevens Road over to the Ladder Streets. Definitely a different location.
Yep.
Do you see the overhead shot on this one?
Yes. It just looked like the top of the house.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't.
But I mean, look at the difference in price.
Yeah, $10,000 more.
Like, yeah, $10,000 for 1,600 less square feet and 40,000 less square footage in terms of a lot.
Right.
But you're on the Ladder Street.
There you go.
You're paying the same as you're paying for almost a house and a half in 2 plus, almost 4 times the lot over on Star Ridge.
You can't bring yourself to call it the Ladder District, can you?
No.
All right.
Never.
109 Garden Street is a walk-to-town location.
It
is. This one's located on not the train side, but on the other side of Garden. like on the
Right.
other
The
side
train's
of
on the
road.
other side of the street.
Yes, the other side of the street.
So what would you take for basically 143 versus Stevens at 141, Rob? Similar square footage. One's a little bit newer, but Stevens was built in 2002, so it's not like it's
right. Well, it
an
was
old
it was
house.
it was rebuilt in 2002, right? Yeah, I'd probably take Stevens.
Yeah, me too.
All right. 13 Maple Place, that can be in the conversation too if you want to play that game.
It is when you get to the one that follows it in a couple listings. But
Right,
go
so
ahead.
1435, nice looking house.
Yep.
Walk to town location, kind of
Sure.
like Garden.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
New. Anything else?
Simply elegant.
Sells for 1435. 8 Woodledge Road is this another square footage question?
No.
No, okay. 14,000, it's a big lot, 14,800
is.
square feet.
This is one where this is in Broadmeadow, but the neighbors in your backyard go to Mitchell.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to be friends with them?
I don't know.
Okay. 37 Fairview Road is the next list. We've got a couple biggies on Fairview, huh?
Yeah, and this is the one that I was referencing when we were talking about Maple Place. These lots both sold for $600,000.
Yep.
They're roughly the same size, although Fairview's a little bit bigger.
Yep.
But Fairview's getting $100,000 more.
Yeah.
So the same time frame, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's just
Well, and there's another Fairview coming
and
up
the
that sold
lots are
for
like
less.
are the exact same size.
Another Fairview coming up that sold for even less than 600. That sold for even more.
Oh, how about that?
We'll get to that in a minute.
Can't wait.
106 Arch Street. Oh, that was the square footage one I was thinking about.
This one?
Yeah.
Yes. I told you I won't go into any more. of
Okay, yeah, sorry.
these. Big lot here, 15,000 square feet.
I'm poking the bear.
Yeah. And this
Yeah.
one was built in 2007, sold for 1.1475 in 07, which was a big number at that time.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Good job.
Next up, 91 Winding River Road. We're heading to the outskirts for a little bit of
we're in
red
it.
riding.
It's about time.
Yeah.
I thought you forgot.
Oof, God, it's been hanging over my head. It feels good to get it out in the open. The reason I like this, Ryan, is, well, you know about my theory, Ryan. I don't know if our viewers do, but I do think the outskirts of Needham are going to be hot in the upcoming few years because I think it's becoming so difficult to build in Wellesley and Newton that people are going to start coming out to this area. So I think you got a really nice piece of land here. It's, I think, about an acre and a half, level, completely renovated in 2016. You just get a lot for your money. You get a lot of bang for your buck, and it's a really nice neighborhood. It's just, look, there's values to be had out there, and this is one. So that's why it's my deal of the month.
For the buyer.
For the buyer. Do we both have for the buyer? No, yours is for
I
the
had for
seller.
the seller.
52 Fairview Road. This is the one I was talking about before.
Yes.
Ryan sells for $575.
I
That's what the
know.
builder paid for it.
And
Pretty good.
on a lot under 10,000 square feet.
Yeah, it must be that vapor barrier.
Yeah, that's interesting because that's part of new construction. It's
Yeah,
just a
I know.
strange thing to highlight.
No question.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe the old house had water or something like that, or it was an issue. But
Right.
and you don't see the word ingress very often either. I mean, you see egress all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, every day you're talking about egress, but ingress.
Who isn't?
Ingress.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, good. 19 Bird Street. We're more new construction. Lots of new construction this month. Was it last month that we only had one that was new construction?
Yeah, and I mean that's probably why our average sale price is so high.
Very good. This is just 3 lots in from Greendale. Big lot.
Yeah,
Right?
over almost 17 or 16,000 and change.
Yeah, 4 finished levels in this one. And there you go.
That lot sold for $711 prior to development.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Good piece of information there. We appreciate that.
you bet.
Over on Rockwood Avenue, so this is the new development, right? It's off of Broadmeadow a little bit. And,
9-home subdivision.
Right, and I'm a kind of a sucker for gambrels, so I really like this one.
Okay.
Sells for 1744. Let's get through the rest of these,
All
Ryan,
right,
shall we?
all right.
57 Ardmore Road, 18,000
Big
square
lots.
foot lot. Yeah.
Over 18,000. Yep.
And that must have been a fun negotiation. 28 Mar Road was built in 2007. This is on a big lot, 3.8 acres, Ryan.
Yes,
Anything
sir.
there?
First or second floor master suite. You get to pick. I like it.
All right. And on 67 Stonecrest Drive, says it was originally 2.175, but that's not really the case, is it, Ryan?
No, original list price was 2.45, and we walked out of there, and I said that house was overpriced by $700,000. So I was wrong, but not quite as wrong as the actual list price.
So at 195, maybe
Yeah.
a deal of the month for the
I thought
seller.
about the seller. Yeah, I
Yep.
think the seller did well.
All right, 6 Rockwood Lane is the big seller, and this is the 7th $2 million sale this year, Ryan. That
Getting there.
eclipses last year's number of 6 already.
Getting there.
But still well shy of the 2015 record of 14.
Right.
Let's take a look forward.
Yeah, quickly.
You want to?
Yeah, why not?
All right, let's
Since
do
we're
it.
here, we ought to.
Okay. So, quick market snapshot. We got not much inventory.
No, but I
What
expect
else
to
is
see
new?
some stuff coming on the market in the next week or so.
Starting
as
today.
As the fall market starts to heat up.
Yep. And the average list price, wow, that's a biggie.
Eek.
Okay, Ryan, if anybody would like to call us with any questions, how would they reach us?
Call us at 781-707-6564.
Or?
Email us, rob.ryan@hawthornre.com.
Or?
You can follow us on Twitter, and that is Hawthorn_WMHW.
That does it for this edition of What's My House For. Thanks, everybody. We're going to see you again very soon.
Very soon.